Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Homeschool Live with the Old School House. I'm your host, Christine, and joining me today from HomeLife Academy is Phyllis Lerro. And I just want to thank you for being here with us today. And I'm excited to get to know you and more about HomeLife Academy. So I'll just start right off the bat. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Phyllis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here with you today. I was one of the first year that Home Life Academy. I'm one of the high school counselors. However, I started out as a homeschool mom with
Perfect.
Home Life Academy the very first year that they went public. We enrolled, and so we were enrolled with them from their first year, and we did that. I was a homeschooling mom for about 17 years. All three of my kids graduated from Home Life Academy. The last 2 years of my homeschooling is when I went to work for Home Life Academy. So I've been working for them now for 12 years, and started out by saying, I don't want to be a counselor, no, I don't want to be a counselor. And before long, I was a counselor. so, I get to specialize with struggling learners. I've just got a special place in my heart. I love out of the box situations.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, it's home life has been a part of my life for a really long time now. And so it's been really good. Really enjoy it.
Nice. And so you've been in this homeschooling environment for quite some time now. So in your experience, what is one of the biggest challenges that homeschooling families face today, in your opinion?
I actually reached out to the counseling team for their ideas about this as well, and
Mhm.
there were a couple of major themes because we see trends that we're talking to families all the time, every
Right.
day, and it's always about problems that they're having or whatever. And there were a couple of different like themes, trends, but to me, one of the main ones is financial constraints
Mm,
because that causes, it's not that it's so expensive to homeschool, but a lot of times families are not able to live on one income. And so when you've got both
mhm.
mom and dad working, or maybe it's just a single parent household, when the homeschool parent is also having to work because of financial reasons, of course, that's why we all work, then it just, it takes away a little bit of that flexibility. It makes things really difficult. I think that is a real challenge for families.
Mhm.
Um, and a few of the counselors spoke to that as well, that just the financial stuff causes a whole domino effect,
It does.
and so um, because if you're not there, it's really hard to do hands-on stuff with your kids. You sometimes it restricts what curriculum or methods you feel like you're able to choose and things like that. The other main one, and I know you asked for one, but I ended
No,
up with
that's okay.
two,
Go
but
ahead.
um, another main one, and I see this a lot too every day that I talk to families, we touch on this in some way or another, and that is just families being really preoccupied with kind of what the schools are doing. Maybe they're afraid to kind of step away and be different from what the schools are doing.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the only method they've ever known.
Right.
And that's a really big thing. It's very much a challenge. A lot of times families get it figured out. A lot of times be talking with them when their student is 11th and 12th grade, and we're finally able to kind of get them to see the beauty of breaking free from that. And they're just like, oh, I wish I had done this years ago. And so those are a couple of things that we see as, very, very much a challenge for families.
Yeah, and if you're watching and you're sort of in this boat, I can tell you that I've been homeschooling for 10 plus years now, and
Mhm.
it's still ingrained in your brain, of how school should be. And I feel like I'm personally constantly fighting against that mentality. Like, okay, I have to remind myself, no, homeschool can look like this for us.
Right.
And so it doesn't have to, one, look like the public school, structure, and two, it doesn't have to look like what other homeschooling families are doing too.
That's right. I was just thinking that because that was one of the other things. We compare ourselves to each other so much, and it's just not good to do that.
No.
It's not helpful. It's not helpful to do that. You want to find what's best for your family and your kids. And, I learned a long time ago, adults are subject to peer pressure as well
Yes,
as
we
kids
are.
are. And I remember recognizing in myself at one point, wow, I am feeling so much peer pressure because I expected when I started homeschooling, I thought, oh, we're going to have all these gifted kids and we're going to just set the world on fire. And I ended up having struggling learners, that were super gifted in many ways, but the tradition, it just didn't look the way I thought it was going to look. And
Exactly.
just feeling like I had to keep up, boy, that's definitely a big challenge that families have. Very common.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Definitely. And
Mhm.
so now that you have more experience and uh, more ways of doing this well,
Mhm.
what is one piece of advice that you would give all of our listeners today?
It's really connected to that we've just talked about, and it's really allowing yourself to break free
Hmm.
from that mindset, from those patterns, and paradigm is an overused word, but we all, when we come out of institutionalized schooling, it's not just public schools, it's private schools, it's structured programs, which are great for the people that it works for. If it works for you, that's wonderful. But a lot of times the reason people are leaving school is because that wasn't working for one reason or another. But then they bring it home, and so that we literally have these conversations every day with families. Breathe, you know, get, just breathe. You're not messing up. Um, Allow yourself to get to know your students well enough, especially if they've been in school for a while. It's really easy to kind of disconnect. Allow yourself to take a break and get to know them well enough to figure out and help them figure out what are their gifts. Why did God put them on this earth? What's their purpose? And figure out those things. That's the greatest thing you can do for your kids, is help them figure out, what am I good at? Why did God put me here? Because I know it was for a reason.
Yeah.
And see what their gifts are, and let those things be your guide. Figure out what are their goals, what are they good at, and let those things direct you, and be willing to step away from the traditional things if needed. If and I feel like it's always needed. Personally, I love the non-traditional stuff.
Yeah.
um, but I get it. Some kids enjoy that, believe it or not. Some kids really do, and it works really well for some families. And so I say, go for it. Whatever's working, don't break it. Don't fix it if it's not broke. Don't fix it. Um,
Exactly.
but be willing to get out of the box if needed. And that's the thing. We always say that to families, and families are like, yeah, I want to do that, and then they don't know how. And so
Mhm.
that's one of the things that we do, is we will help. A good homeschool counselor will be able to help you see it. They'll be able to help you get that vision. They'll be able to help you figure out the practical steps to get out of the box, and how to put it into grade reporting and all of that stuff. It can so be done. We do it all the time. And so we can help with that sort of thing. But that's really my biggest piece of advice is just do what's best for your family, for your student. Don't look at the others. Figure out what your goals are, what your students' goals are. And I'm not talking about just their goal for employment. I mean, what's the life goal here? What is the big picture goal here? And like, use that as your direction, to get your direction for what you want to do. And the sky is the limit. There is just I can turn anything into a homeschool course. I
It's true.
really can. And I love helping families see that light and their kids are so happy. They end up being so, a lot of times the families, when by the time I talk with them, their kids are stressed. They're just withering
Mhm.
beneath the burden, and we can talk to them and offer this different mindset, and it just frees everybody, and it allows families to nurture their relationships, because that's really the most important thing. For me, homeschooling is about relationships. Number one, it's about
Yeah. Yeah.
relationship. And if you can keep your relationships first and let the other things fall into place, that's
Mhm.
a good
Mhm.
plan, you know.
That is a good plan.
Mm.
I love this idea of a homeschool counselor
Yeah.
because I share this all the time on here that I am the black sheep of the family who decided to homeschool. And even wherever I go, it's like, oh, you homeschool. And so
Right.
I can't even compare myself to others. I can't even have a proper conversation with someone without like this awkwardness coming. And so like it does get lonely sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am privileged to work for a homeschooling company. So
Right.
at least I've got them, and they're my friends, and we support
Yeah.
me. But it's still if man, if I had if I
Yeah.
had health for you know talking to somebody and just asking the questions. And yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I may have made some better decisions sooner rather
Mm-hmm.
than struggling, like as you said, like just stressed. I'm stressed, my kids are stressed, and so
Yeah, we're so hard on ourselves. So homeschool moms, as a general rule, we want to do things right, and we want to be good at what we're doing, and we can be so hard on ourselves, and that does filter down to our kids. A lot of times we're way harder on our kids sometimes than someone
true.
else would be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just, and so a lot of times we're out here struggling, and we know it's not going great, but we're determined to put that square peg into that round hole,
Right.
and we're going to do it. And reaching out for help is like the very last option on our list. And but I find so many times that I mean, families they always wish they had reached out sooner, because there is that help is available, and we will encourage, you know we the counseling team. It's like David Parkerson had a vision of a fantastic records team and a fantastic counseling team,
Mhm.
um, for Home Life Academy. And it's those two things. That's where the resources and the effort and so much of the heart of HLA is in that counseling team. And it's so that we
Mhm.
can encourage and equip and give ideas and all of that for families. I think it's one of the best things we do. Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, you've been talking a little bit about what Home Life Academy is. Is there anything specific that we need to know, like our viewers need to know who you are as a company and where we can
Yeah.
find more information?
And so here's the thing. When I describe Home Life Academy, the things that come to mind are partnership.
Mm.
Um, they're a family. When I was a homeschool mom, I just the way they helped me and treated me, I knew they were my partner, and it
Nice.
was it was wonderful. And now that I'm working for them, I feel it even more that it is a family, and we feel that way about the families that we work with. It's like we are in this with you for the short haul, if you only want to do it for a little while, or for the long haul, if you're going to do it all the way through, if you're going to homeschool all the way through. Um, the other thing that comes to mind when I'm describing Home Life Academy is the freedom and flexibility. It is all about parents having choices in education, and it really, really is. That is at the core of what motivates this company, is allowing families to have freedom and flexibility to do what they feel is best for their family. And so that's how I describe Home Life Academy. And now, but then there's also a laundry list of like what we do for families. And so that's also, that can be part of the description. Is that good? We want to go into that part
Yeah,
too?
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what we do, of course, there are a lot of components to this, and our website is awesome. And under the About Us section of our website, you'll find a lot of this, but some of my favorite things are, of course, the counseling and guidance that we can give families. That's one of the things that we are able to do for families. I think we do it better than anybody. We help with, like I specialize in struggling learners. And so and we've got another counselor that does the same thing. She actually works more hours than I do. And Heather is her name. But we care enough about it to have specialty counselors that can help in those areas. We also have counselors that are like, their thing is helping with scholarships and presidential scholar stuff and NCAA and things like that. We've got just the best counseling and guidance that I think that's available. We can help you if you've got out of the box learners. We can help you if you've got traditional learners. We can help if your kids are going to enter the workforce and they're blue collar kids, and there are so many of them, and we need them. We need
Yeah,
those kids,
it's true.
and we can help with that. Oh, we can get so out of the box with these situations, and it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I've watched it happen over and over with families that I've worked with, and stories that I've heard other counselors tell also. But the other thing is, we are legal covering for homeschool families in at least 5 states. Like, that means that we are recognized as one of the legal options for homeschooling in 5 states. However, in the other states where we're not necessarily recognized as one of the legal options, we are still able to provide the record keeping and the counseling. And people can enroll with us. Like Missouri, for instance, is a state that, they don't require much, but they also don't provide much. Like, they don't provide the diploma and things like that. They don't care if you enroll with Home Life Academy, as long as you continue to follow their rules.
Right,
For
right.
homeschooling. You can also enroll with Home Life Academy, and we will keep up with your records and do your transcripts, and you'll get our diploma and all of those types of things. And so, we have a global division, so we're working with families overseas. We can help in so many ways as a legal covering. But even when we're not the legal covering, we're still a really good place for families to go and get that support and that records support. That is so important, because you're talking
Yes.
about, with records, you're talking about transcripts and forms and the diploma. These are the things that help you get your scholarships and things like that. And
Mhm.
we have got an incredible records team. Um, they are so efficient. They're fast. They're professional. It's like a well-oiled machine. It's just really wonderful. And so those are like some of the things. Let me see what else I might have written down here. Those are just some of the things that, like, this is what we can do for you.
Mhm.
The state-of-the-art records, the coverage, the counseling, and we will provide all that, and we will hold your hand if you want us to. But if you're good at this, and you're confident, and you're like, I just want you to leave me alone, we'll pretty much leave you alone too. We'll send a reminder out that it's time to report grades, and then we leave you alone. We just try to be what the family needs. We have a philosophy of that. We're here to support. We're kind of beside you. We're not above you.
Mhm.
We're not in front of you. We're beside you. We're partners. We want to do this thing with you. And so that's really our base philosophy. It's something we repeat a lot to each other and to our families. And so, yeah, I think it's a great place. I think anybody that chooses Home Life Academy is in really good hands.
It
And
sounds like a great place.
yeah, it is. It's a
For
great
sure.
place. Hmm.
And I know specifically the record keeping is a huge deal, especially in those states where it's required. And I'm curious about it because my oldest one is not quite in high school, but almost there.
Yeah.
And I'm researching and I'm looking at my options as to how am I going to do this, because we are actually not required where I'm up here in Canada,
Okay.
and so in our province we're not required to keep records,
Okay.
but I also want to because it could be useful
Right.
later
Oh
on. And
yeah.
we they can change it on at
Yeah.
any given time and say, and then I'll be
Yeah.
stuck. So I don't want to be stuck.
Yeah.
So how can you
Yeah.
give a little bit more details just so that just somebody like me
Oh,
would
yes, girl. We've got you. We've got you. We have got your back on that. Listen, you could enroll with us, and you would have access to all the support, the grade reporting, the record support, the counseling support, everything. You get end up with a diploma, and our diplomas are accepted. We've got a whole list of colleges and universities, and it's not even an extensive list. It's ones that we know for sure families have gone into, but our diplomas are accepted everywhere. We have Apple Core, which is our grade
okay,
reporting system,
okay.
and it is so handy. And I get it. That's what's easy on the computer for one person can be a struggle for another person, and so, but I'll tell you, it is just about as user friendly as you can possibly get. And then in addition to that, though, if if maybe you are one of those folks that does struggle with it, we've got all these videos on how it takes you step by step. We've got a whole YouTube channel with our counseling videos, with our Apple Core support videos, where she's walking you through step by step. Here's how you report your grades. Here's how you put your courses in there, all that kind of stuff. And we've got a portfolio feature with our grade reporting. And like for some kids who are, going into competitive colleges and, trying to get scholarships and things like that, sometimes they need that portfolio. So we'll send that right along with the transcript. Our transcripts are super professional. Our diploma is a beautiful diploma, very formal, widely accepted. I mean, we can help you. We can do that. We would be a good school for you.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, I'm noting it down for whenever
Yeah. Okay. Call me.
will do. So thank you so much for giving us this tool, this resource that I'm sure so many of our viewers are going to appreciate, and look forward to. And make sure you click on the link. We'll make sure we have the link in the comments so that you can click right through and find out for more information. Phyllis, is there anything else that you want to leave with us today in terms of just homeschooling advice or just important information that we need to know about Home Life
Well,
Academy?
one thing I'll tell you about home life, we try to stay cutting edge. That's a goal that we have. We want to be on the cutting edge. We're always looking for better, faster ways to serve our families, and so that's super important to us. Because of that, we have a lot of different ways to contact us. But if you go to our website, that's the place to start. That's all. So much information is there, and it's there for everyone. If you're not enrolled with Home Life, you're going to still find some really good usable information at our website about curriculum and methods and all kinds of things. But we have a chat feature, like a live chat that really is manned. It's not a computer. It's
That's good to know.
manned during business hours. We don't man it at night and on the weekend. But it's a real person. When you get there, there is somebody there. We have if you choose to call in, we have like help desks, so that if you call in and you need to talk to a counselor, you don't just automatically get put on a list and somebody will call you back. We have counselors on a help desk who are there to try to answer the questions that don't need a little bit extra time and attention and understanding. And so that's really super important to us. So I just want to say that.
Yeah.
And so but the website is the place to start. And as far as homeschooling goes, I just love to encourage families that if you're feeling like it's something that you want to do, like then you can do it. Having the desire to do it is probably the most important thing. We have working families, we have single parent families, we have guardianship situations, we have all kinds of situations. And if you have the desire to do it and you're doing that because you know that it's going to be the best thing for your child, then let us help you. We can help you. We can offer lots and lots of different suggestions. People are homeschooling these days that I didn't know was possible back. I don't think I could have done it. But there are
Mhm.
so many different tools now for
Yes.
families,
Yeah.
and you just that flexibility is there, and for your scheduling and your curriculum and your or learning, unschooling, whatever you want to do. So we're just so glad to help people do that. But just know that if you've got the desire to do it, that's the most important part. The rest of it can be worked out.
I love that. I love that. And that's what we try to encourage, even if you've been doing this for a few years now, and maybe you're getting discouraged and not really
Mhm.
sure, you always go back to that why you
Yeah.
started, and
Mhm.
what prompted you to start in the first place. And just keep that in the back of your mind, and just remind yourself that you did start and you can finish, and
Right.
you just got to find the right tools and resources like Home Life Academy,
Right.
and find the support for sure of a good homeschooling community. So be encouraged, all of you who are listening, and we thank you for listening and joining us today. Thank you, Phyllis, for letting us know about Home Life Academy, and we hope to have you back again
Thank
sometime.
you for having me. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Awesome. So we will sign off for today, and we'll see you again for another Homeschool Live. Bye for now.